It is the greatest race and the longest race that we run here on AG the channel. And for the 10th time, it's an anniversary running of this great race here today. 100 laps around the world's greatest racetrack for 250 miles. It is going to be a fast race, a treacherous race, but as always, it'll be one entertaining one as well. It is the biggest race, the longest race that we do, and it's the 10th running of the Indianapolis 250 here in the Haas IndyCar Series 2023. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and the time has finally arrived. Indy 250 week began 13 days ago, and now we are finally here to throw the green flag for the biggest race of the year here on AG the channel. This is the Indianapolis 250, 100 laps around this 2.5 mile super speedway in Speedway, Indiana. And one of these 33 drivers will make history by winning the 10th running of this race. As I have said all week, it's hard to believe that we have gotten to the 10th running of this great race, but here we are, and we could not be any more excited to begin this event here for 2023. I'm joined alongside two of my greatest friends that I have made over those 10 runnings and those 8 years that we've been doing this event here on the channel. Micah Knapp and Andrew Miller, both of you guys have called this race before. Both of you have seen Nicholas Samadio go to victory lane in this race before. Micah, I'll start out with you. It is such a long race, and any of these 33 drivers can win, but what is the key thing that these guys need to do to be in contention for the race victory near the end of this Indianapolis 250?
Well, I think it's all about saving your stuff. You're not going to win the race in turn number one, and we've seen some pretty early incidents in the past, so just keeping your car in one piece, keeping it on the track, and hoping that you wind up at the front towards the end.
And it's definitely going to be interesting to see who's in contention for this race victory at the end of the race. Nicholas Samadio has found himself in that position a couple of times before. And Andrew, what do you need to do if you're in position to win this race with 5 laps to go? How are these drivers going to race it knowing that the race is almost over and they have an opportunity to win this great race?
I think a lot of that will come down to what they had learned for those previous 95 laps. How much of a draft up can they get to the guy in front of them? And they'll be able to take that and know, okay, would it be better if I'm actually in second place with like 2 laps to go and then I can draft around him and slingshot him? Or is there not as much of that and I should probably try to be ahead? I think that a lot of these guys, especially the veterans, are going to take it, kind of research it and see how it's going to be for the first good stretch of this race, so that then they know how it'll shape up toward the end, and hopefully they'll know where to put themselves.
And it's going to be interesting to see how this race ends up playing out, especially with so many laps in this event. But even though it's a 100-lap race, 250 miles, this race seems to go by faster and faster every single year. Maybe it's just because I'm getting older. The first one I ran, I was 15 years old. Now I'm 23, and that might do a thing to you, but these guys know that they have to race every single lap cleanly to get to the end, but track position, especially in recent years, has been a major key factor. And this race is going to be over before you know it. But 100 laps today, the fuel window about 40 laps as it always is, so if the race does go green, which is very unlikely, it'll be a 2-stop race. But if a caution comes out at the right time, we could see ourselves a fuel mileage race. We saw it in 2019 and then again in 2020. Who knows, we could see it again. You never know what to expect in this Indianapolis 250. But as I said, it is always a majorly entertaining race, and we are looking forward to seeing who goes to victory lane here in the 9th race of the season in the Haas IndyCar Series. Qualifying on Sunday saw Christian Vargas grab the pole for the Indianapolis 250. He starts in the first position while being 24th in the championship standings, and this race a great equalizer, especially considering the draft that we have. Of course, the Haas IndyCar Series an equal rating series, but any of these 33 drivers can go to victory lane no matter where they are in the championship standings. And speaking of the championship standings, Luna Lona, the points leader after winning the Grand Prix of Indianapolis last Thursday, she has a 24-point lead on the field coming into today's event. Aaron Abel was fastest in the first practice session that we ran almost 2 weeks ago. He is 24 points behind. Logan Williams, who starts in the 9th position here today, is 27 points behind. John Andrews is 32 points behind. And Brad Stover, who was fastest yesterday in Carb Day practice and starts on the outside pole, comes into this race 34 points behind. However, these drivers are not going to be focusing on the championship here today. They will be focusing on the race victory. And all 33 drivers looking to get that race victory, they will not be thinking about that championship here today. But to point out, this is not a double points race, neither is it in real life anymore, and it'll be 50 points for the race winner, plus a bonus point for leading a lap, and another bonus point for leading the most laps. Let's go trackside for opening ceremonies, and then the starting grid for this year's Indianapolis 250. Driver introductions here. The 33 drivers who will be running this Indianapolis 250 here in 2023. He's coming down! He's coming down the pit lane! Andrew Baranowskis at the line steals it in the Indy 250. Mr. Midge, you know he's got it. His second Indianapolis 250 race victory. Nicholas Samanil has done it again. You can't stop him. He's got to hold off the all-time winningest driver to get the biggest win of his career. Trey Smith has won the Indianapolis 250 in 2022. Folks, ladies, and gentlemen, welcome to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the 10th running of the Indianapolis 250. Here are the 33 drivers competing in this year's event. Starting 33rd in the number 51 Grattan Autosport Honda in his 5th Indianapolis 250, Matt Tuck. Starting 32nd in the number 88 Webb Racing Enterprises Chevrolet in his 1st Indianapolis 250, Jacob Walker. Starting 31st in the number 97 NS Racing Chevrolet in his 1st Indianapolis 250, Aaron Abel. Starting 30th in the number 3 Trackhouse Racing Chevrolet in his 2nd Indianapolis 250, Caleb Rose. Starting 29th in the number 1 Trackhouse Racing Chevrolet in his 3rd Indianapolis 250, Angel Olvera. Starting 28th in the number 12 Trackhouse Racing Chevrolet in his 1st Indianapolis 250, Alexander Rowe. Starting 27th in the number 24 Nathan Orman Motorsports Chevrolet in his 1st Indianapolis 250, Tanner Parton. Starting 26th in the 07 Dracoan Racing Enterprises Mercedes in his 2nd Indianapolis 250, Landon Smith Jr. Starting 25th in the number 53 Dracoan Racing Enterprises Mercedes in his 1st Indianapolis 250, Mason Brown. Starting 24th in the number 9 DM Motorsports Subaru in their 1st Indianapolis 250, Skylar Taylor. Starting 23rd in the number 23 Grattan Autosport Honda in his 6th Indianapolis 250, the 2019 IndyCar champion, Justin Zeidel. Starting 22nd in the number 5 Grattan Autosport Honda, the 2-time Indianapolis 250 champion, Nicholas Samadio. Starting 21st in the number 94 DM Motorsports Subaru in his 7th Indianapolis 250, Noah Clifton. Starting 20th in the number 33 Dutch Atlantis Racing Nissan in his 2nd Indianapolis 250, Roy Ribbleton. Starting 19th in the number 34 American Motorsports Dodge in his 1st Indianapolis 250, Bradley Bradshaw. Starting 18th in the number 25 Wisconsin Speedworks McLaren in his 1st Indianapolis 250, John Stewart. Starting 17th in the number 79 Otter Island Motorsports Hyundai, the defending Indianapolis 250 champion, Trey Smith. Starting 16th in the number 16 Dog Pound Incorporated Chevrolet in his 1st Indianapolis 250, Angel Gutierrez. Starting 15th in the number 81 Dog Pound Incorporated Chevrolet, his 4th Indianapolis 250, Zachary Fitzwater. Starting 14th in the number 99 Webb Racing Enterprises Chevrolet in his 1st Indianapolis 250, Jim Vincenleff. Starting 13th in the number 95 Nathan Orman Motorsports Chevrolet in his 2nd Indianapolis 250, Cole Raymond. Starting 12th in the number 21 Crown Ultra Racing Chevrolet in his 6th Indianapolis 250, John Andrews. Starting 11th in the number 75 Otter Island Motorsports Hyundai in his 1st Indianapolis 250, Chris Reynolds. Starting 10th in the number 55 Dracoan Racing Enterprises Mercedes, the 2015 Indianapolis 200 winner, Christian Master. Starting 9th in the number 38 American Motorsports Dodge in his 3rd Indianapolis 250, Logan Williams. Starting 8th in the number 37 Hairgel Motorsports Honda in his 1st Indianapolis 250, Benny Moore. Starting 7th in the 00 Dog Pound Incorporated Chevrolet in her first Indianapolis 250, Luna. Starting 6th in the number 98 NS Racing Chevrolet in his second Indianapolis 250, Jay Knapp. Starting 5th in the number 52 Ryan Durrani Incorporated Ford in his first Indianapolis 250, Eric Drew. Starting 4th in the number 31 Wisconsin Speedworks McLaren, the 2020 Haas IndyCar Series champion, Chase Harris. Starting 3rd in the number 13 Wisconsin Speedworks McLaren in his first Indianapolis 250, Avery Alford. Starting 2nd in the number 49 DM Motorsport Subaru in his first Indianapolis 250, Brad Stover. And your pole sitter for the 2023 Indianapolis 250, driving the number 73 Ryan Durrani Incorporated Ford, the runner-up in the 2019 Indianapolis 250, running his third Indianapolis 250, Christian Vargas. And those are our 33 drivers looking to make history here today in the 10th running of this great race. And as we mentioned, Christian Vargas starting on the pole position in the number 73 for Ryan Durrani Incorporated. And starting alongside, it's the number 49 of Brad Stover in his first Indianapolis 250. Avery Alford and Chase Harris there in row number 2. Eric Drew and Jay Knapp in row number 3. Luna and Benny Moore in row number 4, and then Logan Williams and Christian Master make up the top 10 starting positions. Make sure everybody is rolling off okay. Our last qualifier, Matt Tuck, just barely got in the last 9 shootout on Sunday, but here he is with an opportunity at one of the biggest wins in his career. Well, Micah and then Andrew, who do you guys think is going to go to victory lane in the 10th running of this Indianapolis 250?
You know what? Anyone can win this race, and you can win it from any position. And I like Matt Tuck's odds. Let's see if he can do worst to first and win the Indy 250.
I like what Mike is putting out there. I mean, this is going to be a great equalizer. You might as well just throw a dart at a dartboard to see who's going to win this thing. I'm going to go ahead and throw out a pick here with Justin Seidel. Very experienced driver. Won it at California, and so he knows how to get it done on these ovals.
Absolutely.
And I would say that's pretty similar.
And for Justin Seidel's case, he failed to qualify for this race last year. I know he'd love to go to victory lane. Unfortunately, we did have 3 DNQs this year. Bruno Diacomo, Ace Garcia, and Thomas Troxel. They are not with us here today. Not on the racetrack, at least. They're all still very much alive and well, but not running in this year's Indianapolis 250. 33 drivers in the field, as always. And the field is spreading out to begin the greatest race of the year, 250 miles, here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And one of these 33 drivers is going to go to victory lane in the 10th running of this great race. They're coming to the Yard of Bricks. It is the 10th running. Can't imagine that we have gotten to this point, but here we are in 2023 for the Indianapolis 250. We're green flag racing at the Brickyard here in the greatest race of the year. And lap number 1 will be led by Christian Vargas, our pole sitter in the number 73, Brad Stover, Avery Alford, Chase Harris, and the 00 of Luna inside the top 5. A driver I've absolutely been watching out for throughout Indy 250 week. But Vargas holding these guys strong, and they're about single file through the majority of the field at this point.
Alex, I was going to say, these guys all just single filed out as soon as I say that, of course, the battle for third place on track. But running that low side is going to be the preferred line all day long, as thought there might be a potential battle for the lead there. Stover's got to run.
Still have it. Brad Stover looking here on the 73. Brad Stover just barely edged out John Stewart right at the end of yesterday's practice session. This 49 is obviously very quick there for DM Motorsports. Won at Lime Rock Park earlier this season. As for third, Luna Lona coming here on the inside of Chase Harris. Here comes Jay Knapp in the 98. We're going to see a lot of cycling early on, but if we go green until the first cycle of pit stops, then this field will absolutely spread out, and we're going to have ourselves a very interesting race. Jay Knapp there for the fourth position on Chase Harris as Brad Stover continues to look on Christian Vargas, but Vargas still holding strong as the race leader.
Vargas seems to be getting a great run off of the corner with running that higher side. Very similar to what you see in pretty much real-life NASCAR. You run a bit of a higher lane to get a better run off of the corner, but this 00, holy cow, really coming up through the field so far. But, I mean, hey, we're on lap 4 of 100. I'd still say that any one of these 33 in it with a good chance.
Absolutely. Here comes Brad Stover trying to peek to the inside, getting the help there from Luna Lona and Jay Knapp, and here we go, looking for our first pass for the race lead here in this Indianapolis 250. Brad Stover to the inside of Christian Vargas. He's going to take the race lead away from the number 73. Here comes Luna Lona as well, help from Jay Knapp on that inside lane. But Brad Stover going to lead lap number 4 here in this race. Now, last year, and of course you picked Matt Tuck, I should say, to win this race, Micah. Last year, Trey Smith won this race from the 32nd starting position. So very much so, any of these drivers can still win this race. And of course, if we do end up with a yellow flag here today, that could bunch those guys from the back who avoid whatever wreck may occur to bring out the yellow flag closer to the front. And of course, bunch the guys back up. So we could see so many different things that could allow those guys in the back to win this race. But right now, a lot of guys who started up front, running up front, as Luna Lona has taken the race lead, and a very close call there between Brad Stover and Eric True for second.
Just props to Luna Lona. Last race had an absolutely breakout race. I mean, she's been running up front all season, but to finally put it together, take the win, and she is just flying here in the early stages of this 250.
And of course, this team, very strong, a lot of momentum coming into this race, absolutely, from winning that Grand Prix of Indianapolis last week. This is a completely different type of race than what it is on the road course. But Luna Lona taking to it very well in that 00. And if I'm not mistaken, Andrew, and correct me here, you called the California 100 with me. She finished second in that race, I do believe, to Justin Zidell. Ran very strong there at the Auto Club Speedway, so no surprise to see her run well here during Indy 250 week, as Vargas back to the inside of Brad Stover for second. Jay Knapp there as well. Here comes Jim Vincenleff, an Indy 250 only driver here for Drew Racing Enterprises, moving his way on this inside lane.
Cool to see there. I mean, it's like you said, with the equal ratings, pretty much all spent cars out here. Everyone's going to have a good chance, but of course everyone's got their own little driving styles, their own ways of doing things, their own little maybe tweaks to their individual setups that they like to do. And obviously that 00 has got it figured out at the moment, because even when Vargas was leading, never was able to pull away from the field, and Luna's been the only one to do that so far. So a couple car length advantage so far. We'll see how long she's able to hold on to it.
Of course, you really can't hold on to it for that long. Drafting absolutely a factor here as 3 wide, and Logan Williams getting it sent to the inside wall with John Andrews back through the field. That was close right there. Oh my. Christian Master involved as well. Zachary Fitzwater in the fence too in the 81. And Logan Williams, his chance at winning the Indianapolis 250 is going to end right there. That could have involved so many more drivers than what it actually did. But our first caution of this Indianapolis 250 is going to fly. Luna Lona will win the race back to the line on lap number 8. Jay Knapp, Jim Vincenleff, Christian Vargas, and Brad Stover, the top 5.
I cannot believe that there weren't more cars in that. There was, only 3? I was honestly expecting half the field to have piled into that. That was incredible.
Oh,
I was terrified when I saw him shooting back up the track in turn 2. That was some dicey stuff there.
We'll absolutely have to do some onboards with that one. Logan Williams is done for the day. He will be our first DNF of this Indianapolis 250. You got Zachary Fitzwater and Christian Master, who got caught up as well. Two drivers who have had a lot of success in this race before. Of course, Christian Master won it in 2015, and our runner-up from last year, Zachary Fitzwater, caught up in the 81. And any bit of damage you get in this race effectively takes you out of contention from winning. They're waiting to get the pace car here so they can come down the pit lane. Here it comes. Of course, even after the cycle of pit stops here, it'll still be a two-stop race from this point on to the finish. So these guys don't necessarily have to come down the pit lane. And with that being said, we may see a bit of strategy here. Luna Lona going to lead them down the pit lane here. You got Jay Knapp, Jim Vincent left, Christian Vargas, and Brad Stover, the top five currently. Let's see if anyone stays out. It does not appear that anybody will. But we may see a bit of strategy here on the pit lane for these 32 drivers who are still left in this race. Luna Lona going to lead them down the pit lane. They'll start coming down. We'll have to see if it's a two-tire stop for any of these drivers. Maybe a four-tire stop or maybe no tires. Tire wear does come into effect here in this race, and you absolutely want to have as much grip as possible to get through these corners. The more grip you have, the better able you are to make passes. And, of course, that's how you get to the front here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But here we go. Going to follow with the 00 here. So first cycle of pit stops here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Luna Lona will, in fact, take tires. We'll have to see if she takes 4 tires here on her stop. If not, it could get very interesting in terms of the strategy. Only 2 tires, and that is one thing about NR2003. Of course, it is a NASCAR racing simulator. The 2-tire stop an option for these guys, even though that would not be an option in real life. Jay Knapp will be second off the pit lane. Jim Vincent left third. Christian Vargas fourth, and Brad Stover fifth, just as they came down. Well, there was a big wreck in between turns 1 and 2. Let's see what happened to bring out the first caution of the day here in the 2023 Indianapolis 250. And 3Y, we kind of saw this happen as it happened live. John Andrews in the 21 tried to go 3 wide on Logan Williams. And I got to be honest with you, when I saw Logan Williams come back up the racetrack here, I thought, oh no, we're going to take out 15 cars in this field. It was Fitzwater and Master. That was it. Benny Moore just barely missed it. These guys did an excellent job avoiding it, with the exception of Master and Fitzwater. But Logan Williams taking a hard hit into the fence right there. Really can't see him there in that 38 machine, but tough break for Logan. I know he absolutely wanted to win this race. Had a great opportunity of doing so starting in 9th. And unfortunately, the day will end early for Logan Williams here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, coming off a 2, just nearly 3 wide there, and Logan Williams gets hooked and then just comes back up the racetrack. Nothing Master could have done there, nor Fitzwater. So just a tough break for those guys.
Yeah, and Master and Fitzwater, their chances of winning this race are going to end right there. And then so will Logan Williams, as he is now out of this race. Let's go ahead and do an onboard here. Like we said we would, because that got really close there to Benny Moore in the 37. On board the 37 of Benny Moore, you're going to see the 38 and the 21, and right there. Oh my, that was tight. That was really tight right there. But Benny Moore is still in this race in the 37. And, if he wins this race, let's go back to that moment there with Logan Williams almost getting caught up in the accident. The race back to the line, won by Luna Lona in the 00, and she also won the race off the pit lane here as well. Let's see what happens on the restart here in the 2023 Indianapolis 250. We are back here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the 10th running of the Indianapolis 250, and a wreck taking out Logan Williams, and somehow, some way, only Logan Williams currently out of the race. It's damage to Zachary Fitzwater and Christian Master as they were caught up in the accident. But thankfully, nobody else majorly caught up in that wreck. It could have been so much worse than what it was, but all of those drivers avoiding Logan Williams as he came across the racetrack. Luna Lona continues to lead this Indianapolis 250. Jay Knapp is second. I'm sure you're proud of that one, Micah. Jim Vincent left running third as an Indy 250 only driver. Christian Vargas, Brad Stover, Cole Raymond is 6th. Chase Harris is 7th. Eric Drew is 8th. Benny Moore in the 9th position. And Noah Clifton, an Indy 250 veteran, rounding out the top 10. 32 drivers still on the racetrack. And Christian Master, the last driver on the lead lap. Everybody still on the racetrack, currently on the lead lap here as we are about to move into lap 13 of 100 in this Indianapolis 250. The green flag going to go back in the air. Luna Lona and Jay Knapp, the 2 leaders. We're back underway in the Indianapolis 250 here for 2023. And already, Jim Vincent left, looking to peek to the inside, can't quite do it. These guys restart quite a ways from each other, so a bit hard to make a move instantly. We got a double wide battle back in there, but Jay Knapp looking on Luna Lona for the race lead.
I'll be wondering how far that 00 can pull away, if at all. She was able to do that earlier on, but again, these two are all over him. Knapp looking low into 3.
And Jay Knapp looking to the inside for the race lead. Help from Jim Vincent left in the 99. And I know when Drew Webb started his team, he was saying, I want a big underdog story with my team, because they're only running the Indianapolis 250 with their 2 drivers of Jim Vincent left and Jacob Walker. But it would definitely be something if this team went to victory lane in the Indy 250 with Jim Vincent left in his first ever running of this race. Well, he's going to go for the race lead right there on Jay Knapp here on lap 14. And he's going to make that one look pretty easy there off the exit of turn number 2. A bit easier to make a pass there off of turn 2 than it is off of turn number 4, as turn 4 is a bit slower than turn 2. Lona's still in third, then Brad Stover and Cole Raymond now inside the top 5. But Vincent left going to take the race lead away. Here comes Luna Lona back to the inside for second.
These fresh right side tires really allowing some more aggressive racing here. Surprised a little bit at just how aggressive some of these moves are. I mean, that move for the lead there from Vincent left in the middle of the corner didn't even really set him up at all. Just kind of took that hole and said, thank you very much. I'm very intrigued at the fact that pretty much everyone that has taken the lead has been running that kind of half lane higher than everyone else. Are coming out of the pits.
That's Landon Smith Jr. in the 07 who has had an issue. And he's now a lap down there for Dracoan Racing Enterprises. That is a tough break for the 2021 Freedom 50 winner. Of course, we had the great race in the Freedom 50 yesterday. I'm not going to spoil it because Andrew was in that race and he is in the booth with us here today. Some guys a bit off the pace. Mason Brown, John Stewart there, Jacob Walker, and Angel Olvera. I'm wondering if some of those guys had to slow down to allow Landon Smith Jr. to come down the pit lane. But either way, if that was the case, it's tight racing there between Chris Reynolds and Eric Drew. This is tight throughout the entire race course as Jim Vincent continues to hold on to the race lead.
99 is checked out, doing similar to what Luna Lona did earlier, and of course Lona now in the 5th position and falling back just a bit. So I'm wondering what guys took 4 tires as opposed to 2 tires and how much of a difference that's going to make, as we got a battle for 3rd off of turn 4, excuse me.
And Cole Raymond, Brad Stover, and Luna Lona fell back to the 5th position right there. She got shuffled out of line, but trying to get back to the inside. But Cole Raymond says, oh boy, Cole Raymond.
No.
Lona was not appreciative of that move right there. A bit of contact in the turn number 1, but all is well for the time being. Almost had a Kyle Larson, Ross Chastain moment right there. Ugh. Noah Clifton, how about this 94? This is a driver who has been in this race so many times, has never won it before, but I know he'd love to get it there. The Aussie doing a great job for DM Motorsports. His teammate Brad Stover running very well. And Stover going for the 6th position there on Cole Raymond. He's going to make it work. As for the race lead, Jay Knapp, he was peeking to the inside of Vincent left, unable to make the move.
And they're starting to settle it down here a little bit. As you said, tire wear will be becoming a factor over time. But yeah, they're not able to check out quite like Luna did. And right now, really tight battle up here, but Jay Knapp right now just saying, you know what, I'm just going to keep it right here and maybe try to keep this few car lengths that we have amongst the rest of the field. And then hopefully we'll be able to settle it amongst ourselves here for a little while.
We'll just have to see. Of course, you don't need to be aggressive this early on. Jay Knapp is in a perfect position right now in this race, and to your point, Andrew, if he can pull away a little bit with Jim Vincent and this race stays green, those two, they come down the pit lane under a green flag cycle of stops as the race leaders, they can really put a lock on the field. That's what Trey Smith and Zachary Fitzwater did last year, and it was down to just those 2 drivers for the race victory in the 2022 edition of this race. Unfortunately for Fitzwater, he's got damage from the accident. It does not look like he's going to keep his streak of top 10 finishes in this race. Meanwhile, though, Trey Smith still very much in contention, currently running 18th in the 79 machine, but still a little ways behind our race leaders. And these guys have spread out quite a bit. You see him right here. It is not a true pack race by any stretch of the imagination as the caution's back out again. Oh, hard wreck right there.
Oh, my goodness.
That is Roy Ribbleton, Tanner Parton, and it was John Stewart that came rushing right in there. I think it's just those three drivers, but already our second caution of the day here in this Indianapolis 250.
What is going on?
That was a big one, too. Holy cow. Some cars easily went airborne.
That was Tanner Parton, Roy Ribbleton back in there, and then John Stewart in the 25 as well. You know, we sometimes see a lot of cautions in this race. We saw 6 cautions in this race in 2019, I do believe. Either 2019 or 2018, one of those editions saw quite a few yellow flags. Already our second one, and we're only on lap number 20 here in this Indianapolis 250. And this is interesting because right at this point, these drivers, if they come down the pit lane here, should be able to make it on one more stop. But it's going to be right on the line if the race stays green from this point. However, considering that we've already had 2 wrecks here today, I don't know if we're going to continue that streak on. It doesn't even look like Vincent Left's going to come down the pit lane. These guys just came down, and they're going to stay out right here. Very interesting there. So that will keep us from guessing whether this will be a fuel mileage race or not, because if they don't come down here, then it's still a 2-stop race from here on out, and nobody except Caleb Rose. Caleb Rose, Angel Olvera, Christian Master, Zachary Fitzwater. Of course, the latter two with damage from the prior incident, but the 2 Trackhouse Racing cars, Caleb Rose and Angel Olvera, a little bit of strategy there from Reggie Fogelman's team. We'll have to see if that works out for them.
You know what? If you're in the back at this point, what do you have to lose? Take it down pit lane and top off on fuel. You're not going to lose that many spots, and it's going to set you up better for the end.
And if this race, for some strange reason, happens to go green from here on out, Caleb Rose and Angel Oliveira could very well steal this win away. So Tanner Parton, Roy Ribbleton, and John Stewart. It looks like those will be the drivers who are going to fail to finish here after this one. Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the second caution of the day here in the 10th running of the Indianapolis 250. Now, this is what happened here between Roy Ribbleton and Tanner Parton. Ribbleton sliding up into the 24, and Parton kind of got loose there off the exit of 3. And just no room for either of them to go. The good thing about this wreck, it happened at the back of the field, but still had a couple cars coming through there. Landon Smith Jr., who came down the pit lane right there. That's your flip there, Andrew. Tanner Parton going upside down on the 24 machine as he came back up and smashed that outside wall. And then what we ended up seeing was John Stewart in the 25, I do believe, coming very close to the 33. I think he may have hit Roy Ribbleton. Yep. Sideswiped that 33 viciously hard. Going to take John Stewart out of the race. Tanner Parton was already upside down at that moment. And unfortunately, John Stewart, who was almost fastest in yesterday's Carb Day practice, going to get knocked out here in the number 25.
It's a symptom of old tires, probably. A little slide up there and some insane hits. Look at that. It is not a good day for... or it's not a good turn 4 for the yellow and white cars, that's for sure.
No.
Ugly one there, but like you said, just very lucky that it wasn't more involved.
Very, very violent accident there, but only 3 cars involved in the accident, which is good to see. Jim Vincent left. Going to lead us to the green flag in the 99 as he won the race. Actually, he didn't even come down the pit lane, I should say. Caleb Rose, though, came down, and he was just ahead of that accident but did not get caught up, so we'll have to see what Caleb Rose can do here on the restart. But Jim Vincent left leading the field here. We're still very early on here in the 2023 Indianapolis 250. Over. We're back here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. A tire issue on Christian Vargas. He was top 10 here. We have still yet to get to the 1 to go here under this caution. Now, the good thing for Vargas, this is a tire issue. This will not take him out of the race, but he will be sent to the back of the field as he comes down the pit lane here to repair the tire. Tough break there for our pole sitter, but still in this race. Not out of it yet, as we have seen a couple of big wrecks who have taken drivers out of this race so far. We'll get back to racing here in just a moment. Jim Vincent, your race leader here in the Indianapolis 250. And we're now officially back here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, almost a quarter of the way through the 10th running of the Indianapolis 250. What a race it has been already. And something I have noticed, a lot of these drivers who are still up front have stayed up front. Not really seeing much of a pack race here, and not a lot of cycling going on either, which is something I like to see. You definitely have to earn your passes here. Vargas is back out there. The tire is repaired, and he's still on the lead lap, but he is going to fall all the way back to the 29th position. Landon Smith Jr. still a lap down, and then Tanner Parton, Roy Ribbleton, and John Stewart out of the race after that accident. We still have ourselves 28 drivers on the lead lap. Jim Vincent left, your race leader. Jay Knapp in the 98, still running second. A great race for him so far in that 98 for NS Racing. Brad Stover is third. Luna Lona, Noah Clifton, Cole Raymond, Benny Moore, Chase Harris, Avery Alford, and Eric Drew. The top 10 coming to lap 24 of 100. The number 99 of Jim Vincent left, holding this field strong as an Indy 250 only driver. Let's see what he does on this restart. Will he hold these guys off? Green flag back in the air. Jay Knapp there. Not as good of a start for him, but everyone remaining single file as they head into turn one.
And now we got Stover on the back, the gearbox of Knapp as they come off of turn two. Let's see if Stover is going to go to the low side down the backstretch. We got some stragglers down there further back in the pack. It doesn't look like Stover's going to make that move.
Everyone remaining single file for the time being, and I think they kind of have the idea figured out that been a little too aggressive in the early parts of this race, especially back in the field there as we've already had two wrecks. But Vincent left able to hold on. Jay Knapp going to hold on the second ahead of Brad Stover. Luna Lona trying to close back in on the 49. She's going to try to take it there for the third position, and she will successfully do so. Always so tight as they have so much speed going into that corner. And that's going to allow Noah Clifton to get around his teammate. Top five have pulled away as Cole Raymond kind of holding the rest of the field up right here.
And that's probably why they're trying to make a move around him. But maybe the better move might be trying to stay behind him and see if he can draft up there. Unless he's just got not a very good car. But here comes Jay Knapp.
That was tight right there. Jay Knapp trying to get this inside lane to work. Now, of course, it's a cloudy day, a little bit cooler, so the racetrack is faster than it would be under the sunshine. So they have a little bit more grip, a little bit more maneuverability to make these moves through the corners, and Jay Knapp's going to do it there on Jim Vincent left. And the 98 going to take the race lead away here at the quarter-way mark of the Indianapolis 250. Here comes Luna Lona. Here comes Noah Clifton. This 94 is very fast. All the way up to fourth. He started a little bit further back in the field, but he has only gone up since the start of this race. And here he is in the lead draft, looking to take the lead away. Vincent left back on Lona for second, and Jay Knapp looking to pull away from these drivers.
Vincent Liv not going away, and as you said, to his credit, he's an Indy 250 only driver, and he's taken most of the field to school here today in that 99 machine. As we see Clifton up the inside of Lona into turn one side by side, and he's going to clear.
And Noah Clifton absolutely looking fast, tight there between Stover and Lona. The 94, almost, should I say the 49, almost getting into the 00 right there through the corner. So many close calls. We've already seen two wrecks in this race, but we could have easily have had more the way these guys are racing here. Go back through the field just a little bit. We got Eric Drew, Chase Harris here, Chris Reynolds in this pack, Angel Gutierrez there, teammate to Luna Lona as an Indy 250 only driver. He's in this lead draft. You got Cole Raymond falling back. As for the race lead, Jim Vincent left looking on Jay Knapp. He's going to have the inside. That was tight. And almost getting in the Jay Knapp. These guys are getting so much closer to each other than they did in the Freedom 50 yesterday. But somehow they're keeping it together up front.
Golly, I don't think that there's much grip out there for these guys right now. Maybe from the fact that they didn't pit there, so they're on much more worn out tires. But yeah, they are sliding up so much more. They get to the inside, and oh man, black car there, back there, almost getting in there. Yeah, Chris Reynolds. But this is getting really dicey. I think they really got to be careful. We're not even close to halfway.
Well, Jim Vincent left is back out front. This 99 has been able to keep his race car up front pretty much this entire race. Brad Stover and Luna Lona, again, these two continue to battle for the fourth position. just can't seem to get away from each other right here. And the two drivers who have won on the road course this season in the Haas IndyCar Series absolutely want to be in contention for this Indy 250 race victory. Both of these drivers in their first ever running of this race. Same with this driver right here, Benny Moore in the 37 running up front here. The only true single car team in this race of Hairgel Motorsports, running in the 6th position right now. And I was going to get to Nicholas Samadio there in the 5. He's in this lead draft, but so is Trey Smith right here. This 79 starting to move his way through the field. Last year's winner. And he is now up to the 14th position there for the Outer Island Motorsports 79. Here comes Aaron Abel, who was fastest in the first practice session. Did not qualify well, qualified 31st. But he's also in the lead draft now, running in the 12th position as he gets around Cole Raymond. Noah Clifton, content to stay behind Vincent Leff for the time being. These top 3 have pulled away from the rest of the field for now. Jay Knapp currently running in 3rd, but Jim Vincent Leff doing an excellent job here for this Indy 250 only team of Webb Racing Enterprises.
And all the battling that Stover and Lona did side by side, they were side by side for probably a lap and a half, and it just let these top 3 check out from the rest
that
of the
was
field.
close.
We got 3 wide. They're getting so close to one another.
Gutierrez, Reynolds, and Benny Moore there, and that could have been disastrous. But they keep it together for now. And the one thing that I am glad, even though we've already had 2 wrecks, these guys are coming so close to each other, the fact that they're spread out like they are kind of does keep them from wrecking even more than what we have seen. So hopefully that is the case as this race continues on. Here's another driver moving his way through the field. That is Bradley Bradshaw, Derek Hamill's development driver for American Motorsports here. A great run for the 34 team, just outside the top 10, actually just inside the top 10 now, in the 9th position as Reynolds falls back in the 75. I think he's got to catch his breath after that near wreck there, that 3-wide moment. His teammate Trey Smith coming here. And how about this 51 machine? Your pick to win, Micah. Matt Tuck started dead last in this race, now up to 15th. And we're still only 32 laps into this race. Anyone can still win this race that has a fully functioning race car. But who knows? Will Vincent Leff be able to get past in this race? This 99 has led the most laps so far, and Webb Racing Enterprise is looking very strong with their driver.
I mean, definitely looking strong because the fact that they're pulling away considerably from the rest of the field. They pretty much leaving them in the dust right now. Everyone back there is looking at those 3 cars getting smaller and smaller, and yet they're still just doing battle like 15 cars back, and that's not going to help them out. If this stays this way, good luck beating those 3. But like you said, long way to go. Ooh,
Angel Gutierrez here in the 16 looking to close in on our race leaders. But now it's 1.6 seconds that Gutierrez is behind there, running in the 4th position, but still far from over. Avery Alford, great run for Avery in this race. And like I said, came into qualifying, I should say, last in points, but qualified in the 3rd position, got the bonus points for that, and now sits 25th in points. But like I said, no one really focusing on the championship, but just a bit of a measure of how well Alford has been doing this season, or how poorly Alford has been doing this season, and comparing it to how he's done during this Indy 250 week. Finished 3rd in the Grand Prix. And here he is, running top 5 right now in the Indianapolis 250. Luna Lona trying to get back up there. There's so many guys now in this line. Kind of stuck behind Gutierrez here for the 4th position. And they just have not figured their positions out, and they continue to lose time to our race leaders. And here's the thing that these 3 drivers are doing. Vincent Leff, Clifton, and Mike, or knew was going to make that mistake at some point. Jay Knapp in the 98. All staying in line. They're not trying to battle with each other, and they're getting way more speed than Gutierrez, Alfred, and all these guys who have been consistently battling for that 4th position. And they now have 2 seconds on the field because of that, but still 66 laps to go in this Indy 250. And we still have 2 cycles of pit stops left to go in this race as well, so this thing's far from over, but very good measure right now. What we might see at the end of the race, these 3 drivers may be the 3 favorites to win this Indianapolis 250.
And I think Clifton and Jay, as Jay Knapp goes to the inside for 2nd here, maybe not content to run 3rd anymore, but what these guys might be doing is understanding that 99 is the fastest car on the track, so maybe if they just stay in the tow of him, it'll help them break away, but they're still side by side down the backstretch.
It's going to slow them down a little bit, and it's going to hurt Vincent Leff as well, because those guys kind of falling back to that 99, he's not going to have the draft, and all these guys in a line, If they stay in the line, they'll close right back in. Jay Knapp, it took a whole lap for Jay Knapp to make that pass, and Clifton's just going to cross right back over. So the 94 looking back to the inside, and that's good news for Gutierrez and Alford in the 13, Luna Lona in the 00. Chris Reynolds back inside the top 10, trying to get around Benny Moore there in the 37, and you got the 79 there. And how about Matt Tuck? Matt Tuck's been slicing through this field now, top 10 for the Grattan Autosport driver. Let's just hope he doesn't have a mechanical issue in this race, if you know what I mean. Here we go for fourth. Alford looking on Gutierrez as they try to close in on the top 3. And Alford with a strong car here in the Indianapolis 250. What a win it would be for Alford for his first career win on the channel, if he can in fact pull it off here today.
But yeah, the fact that they're starting to do battle again, though, I mean, that's pretty much going to negate the advantage that they just had from second and third starting to do battle there. So I don't know what their mentality is right now. If they're just thinking, hey, we've had 2 big cautions so far, we're probably going to end up with another one. If Luna Lona keeps driving like that. I think she's mad at the fact that she fell back there for a little while. It's like, I know I have a fast car.
I'm thinking Ross Chastain every time I see her driving right now. I don't know. That's not really a good thing. But she's had a couple of close moments in this race. And just think, if she goes to victory lane, just look back at those close moments and what could have been if those close moments ended up going in a different direction. I'm impressed with Matt Tuck here in the 51. And I had a feeling that Matt Tuck would run strong in this race because of just all the attrition that he has had with this team as well. He drives for Grattan Autosport over in the Wall Cup Series, and so many good runs that have been negated because of mechanical issues. I don't know how yesterday's race went. I've yet to record that, just the way the scheduling works with the ratings and all that. But regardless of the fact, Matt Tuck had a string of 4 straight races where he either had a mechanical issue, a tire failure, or he wrecked, and it's not been good over there, but he is running strong at the moment, just getting around last year's Indy 250 champion of Trey Smith, trying to move his way through this field and have an opportunity at the biggest win of his career as a driver. But, I don't know. Jay Knapp, Jim Vincelef, Noah Clifton, they don't want anybody else in contention for this race win, and right now, they're doing a great job keeping it that way, but Jay Knapp may have an opportunity at getting around this 99. We'll just have to see. These NS Racing cars are pretty strong. Of course, their Indy 250 only driver of Bruno Diacomo failed to qualify for this race, but both Jay Knapp and Aaron Abel have had a strong run, and especially Jay Knapp as he was fastest in qualifying last week. Didn't quite get the pole, but that 98 is absolutely a fast one. Couldn't quite make the move on Vincentelef right there, but he was thinking about it.
Clifton, the third place cars, sort of lost touch with these two. I mean, not super far off, maybe 4 to 5 car lengths, but it's still a significant difference, and I'm wondering if he's going to continue to lose ground, especially if Knapp continues to not make moves on this 99 car in the lead. But if you go back there, Matt Tuck is up to 8th now, actually. So that 51, 6th, I apologize. Ticker says 8th. But, yeah, he is just a rocket ship today. So my pick so far, looking good, knock on wood.
Of course, that ticker updates every lap as they cross the line. So last time by, he was 8th, and he gained 2 positions on that lap. And I'm wondering, this may be the guy you want in front of this pack trying to close into the race leaders, because he has gone up, and that is it in this race. Started dead last here in this Indianapolis 250. Oh, Gutierrez going to have a shot to the inside of him. No, he almost put him on the apron. And not even the apron, because there is no apron here. Almost put him on the curbs there through turn number 2. And that 51 wants that inside lane to get around Alford here as Luna Lona makes the move on the 13. Oh, Matt Tuck was looking 3 wide, but he thought better of it there. And hey, here we go. Caleb Rose in the number 3. Remember, he came down the pit lane there, took right side tires, and now he is up inside the top 10 now as he has gotten around Benny Moore. And the thing for Caleb Rose, he can stay out, and he may be able to make it a one-stop race from here on out. Everybody else he's racing with around him have to go with 2 more stops. And if this thing stays green, that number 3 could be in the catbird seat to win the Indianapolis 250. But how about this 3 of Caleb Rose now inside the top 10? He is clearly faster than the rest of this field.
Oh, golly, did you see how close that was? Oh, these guys are making me so friggin' nervous. I cannot believe it as we're getting a little closer and closer to the round of pit stops here. Maybe another 15 laps, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, my God. Look at this hornet's nest. I think it's a matter of time. Something's going to give.
Well, I will say, they did come down on lap 10. Those guys are probably going to be coming down here in about 6 or 7 laps. Caleb Rose has 10 more laps that he can go since he came down around lap 20. And not only that, he's going much faster than these guys now. So that strategy worked out. Angel Olvera also did the same thing, but Olvera still mired. Actually, I don't know where Olvera is. He actually, I think he may have some damage to his race car because he's behind. Christian Vargas also, you know, he got back out there, but he has lost the draft. And of course, Landon Smith Jr. a lap down from the prior incident. Tough break for those drivers there. Not been a good race for him. 21 machine as well. Also off the pace, John Andrews, but of course he got caught up in that accident. The first one that we had here today. For the race lead, J-Nap going to try again here as Matt Tuck has moved up to 4th and Caleb Rose is 5th. Now Caleb Rose will absolutely get around this 51 at some point. J-Nap, he was close there with Vincent left. He's going to get it this time. So finally a pass for the race lead. J-Nap going to take it away from Jim Vincent left on lap 45. But these guys will have to come down the pit lane very soon as Caleb Rose takes 4th away from Matt Tuck. And he'll see you guys later, if you know what I mean. For 2nd, Noah Clifton to the inside of Vincent left. And watch out for this 3 machine of Caleb Rose. Absolutely the fastest car on the racetrack right now. And he can go about 10 laps longer. But these guys here, they're going to have the fresher tires for about 10 laps on Caleb Rose. We'll have to see how Caleb Rose cycles once these guys come down for their first green flag stop of the day. It's just going to be a couple laps from now once we get to it.
Checking out from 2nd and 3rd a bit as Clifton and Vincent lift still side by side through 3 and 4. But yeah, I was just about to bring that up. Can Caleb Rose afford to run on his own without draft on those older tires, as we see Tuck thinking about having a look at it, but not going to make that move. But yeah, can this 3 car afford to go an extra 10 laps on old tires?
Of course, the thing is, too, it may not even matter because he may only have to go 1 more stop in this race while everybody else is guaranteed to go 2 more stops. So that's a big, big factor in that decision of coming down under that 2nd caution. They're closing in on Christian Master and Zachary Fitzwater, 2 drivers who were caught up in the first accident. And while they're not horrendously off the pace, it will still affect these race leaders. J Knapp closing in on the 55. He will find a path to the inside and make it work there. Vincent Left might try to make a move on Clifton, use the 55 as a pick, but not going to do so. And good job out of Master staying out of the way there through turn number 1. Now Zachary Fitzwater, he will get in the way of J Knapp right here. But J Knapp's going to find a way back to the inside as Clifton and Vincent Left closed in there on him. And Vincent Left going to make a move on Clifton. And he's going to use Fitzwater as a pick right there. But Fitzwater almost shut the door on Vincent Left there. And these guys are not going to be too happy with Fitzy after this one because you don't block the race leaders, especially when you're off the pace like the 81 is. But the 3 leaders will get around, both Fitzwater and Master. And it is a clean racetrack up to John Andrews in the 21, who is off the pace from that same accident. J Knapp continues to lead almost halfway through this Indianapolis 250. Here, the 10th running of this race. And Micah, you're sitting up here. This is your driver. And Nathan Stapleton's team. It would be J Knapp's first win if he could pull this one off. Do you think he's got a shot at doing so here today?
He's been in the top 5 for pretty much the whole race, so I think he's got an excellent shot. But he can't get complacent because that 99, he's going places too, and it's certainly not over yet as we're only just about halfway.
The next time by will officially be halfway in the 2023 Indianapolis 250. J Knapp and Jim Vincent Left, absolutely 2 of the most dominant drivers of this race, and Noah Clifton not too far behind in that 94. Here comes Vincent Left looking to take the lead back, and he's going to do so in the turn number 2. Good run there for the 99 as they're side by side for the race lead. Caleb Rose now within 2 seconds of our race leaders with Matt Tuck and Angel Gutierrez following suit behind the 3 machine.
Going to find a way around Fitzwater here. They're going to be able to do so. But yeah, I think with the new tires that he's got on there right now, I think that's why he's going to be able to hopefully reel these guys in. I mean, he's already closed about a second and pulling away from those behind him. So let's see, yep, down another few tenths. So it might get up there here pretty soon. I mean, yeah, he might suffer a little bit in the short term, but then long run, this stays green. Ooh boy, that's looking good.
It absolutely is. Angel Gutierrez, Matt Tuck, they swapped positions right there. Our Island teammates Chris Reynolds and Trey Smith, they are 7th and 8th. Good run for this team here. You got Chase Harris there inside the top 10 and 9th, and then Luna Lona hanging on to the top 10 as they get around Christian Masters. These guys have massively spread out. We had a large pack earlier on. Brad Stover's fallen back quite a bit in the 49 after leading a bit of the early part of this race. Not the case for him anymore. And these guys trying to stretch it as much as they can here. But these guys will absolutely have to go 2 stops in this race. And the longer these guys go, the more likely it is that Caleb Rose can go 1 more stop. And who knows, there may be no one else's race but Caleb Rose's at this point. And this is another driver who has never won a race before on the channel. And what a win it would be for Caleb Rose. And it would be a popular win as well. We'll have to see if Caleb can in fact pull it off. Still no one coming down the pit lane quite yet, but they will be peeking down here shortly. Of course, the caution laps do affect the fuel mileage a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be enough where everyone can stretch it to lap 60 and make it on that one last stop. So we'll have to see how that all comes to effect. But Vincent Leff, absolutely the driver to beat right now in this 99. He's led the most laps here today in this Indianapolis 250.
Would be very beneficial for these guys right now to just stay single file and not battle. You want to have some good in-laps before you pit, just to get the best possible pit time overall. And I think these guys are making the right call here. But Caleb Rose, if he were to win today, that would his best finish in this race.
Caution out! Caution out on the racetrack. Oh, no. Yellow flag here, and Justin Zidell in the 23. I don't know who got into him, but somebody got into him. And our third caution of the day here in the Indianapolis 250. And such a heartbreak there for Justin Zidell. I know he loves this race. He loves the real-life race just as much as all of us do. And he is not going to win this year's Indianapolis 250 as he is caught up in an accident. And now this really opens the door because it is still going to be a one-stopper from here for everybody. And Caleb Rose cannot afford to stay out here because if he stays out, everybody comes in and takes tires. He's going to be eaten up alive out there. Wow. Well, this changes everything. Jim Vincent left. I would imagine going to lead us to the pit lane here for our second cycle of pit stops for a majority of the field. And I'd imagine it's also going to be a 4-tire stop for these drivers as well because these guys have been out there for so long. These tires, these Firestones, absolutely worn out after running nearly 30 laps, over 30 laps under green flag conditions. Here we go. Vincent left going to lead us down. And we'll have to see how well these drivers maneuver their pit stops. Fitzwater staying out there, of course, as he is a lap down. Same with Christian Master, Landon Smith Jr., and John Andrews. Actually, I think John Andrews is still on the lead lap, but he is not going to get in the way of our race leaders, thankfully. So here we go. Vincent left with a bit of an advantage coming down the pit lane here. Let's see what he does on his cycle of pit stops here. And I do believe everybody at this point will still have to make one more stop in this race.
So does this now negate the strategy that 3-car pulled?
And the good thing, though, for Caleb Rose is that he moved up to the 4th position. So he gained all that track position. So it was still a great strategy call for Caleb Rose regardless, especially if he can hold that track position off the pit lane, which it looks like he's going to get around Angel Gutierrez there. Here comes Jay Knapp. Vincent Leff will easily win the race off the pit lane. Then it is Jay Knapp, Noah Clifton, Caleb Rose, Angel Gutierrez, Matt Tuck, Trey Smith, Chase Harris, and I think Chris Reynolds got it on Luna Lona, and then Benny Moore rounds out the top 10 off the pit lane. Well, we're going to give us an opportunity to catch our breath here. John Inner's actually going to lead a lap there because he stayed out. He's a bit off the pace. I would imagine he's going to come down the pit lane this time by with the lap down of cars, kind of as a courtesy gesture to the race leaders. Which I'm hoping that's what he's going to do. But regardless of the fact, let's go ahead and see what happened to Justin Zidell to bring out the 3rd caution of the day in the 10th running of the Indianapolis 250. Got 3 wide here. Avery, Alford, Mason Brown. Zidell kind of getting shuffled out of line there. And Mason Brown decided to take the inside. And just like with Tanner Parton and Roy Ribbleton earlier on, It's a very similar incident right here. Mason Brown spinning Zaidel hard into the inside wall, and a flip right there. Oh, boy. Very violent flip as well. Thankfully, this was at the back of the field. The physics of that don't look accurate, to be honest with you. But, as we always say, this is a video game. And only unless Justin Zaidel is banging his head on his desk, he's alright. But not going to win this year's Indianapolis 250, unfortunately. That is for certain.
Yeah, you see these guys just going 3 wide into 3, which is never a really good idea here at Indianapolis. And Zaidel just gets clipped and smacks that wall.
And then just tumbles into the fence. God, gravy. That's like a Mike Conway 2010 kind of reminiscent there. Golly, that's probably more violent than the second caution, which I thought would have been considerably worse until I saw that. But, of course, I jinxed him. What else do you expect?
Yeah, that's the commentator's jinx right there. Hey, Micah did break it when Luna Luna won last week at the Grand Prix, but this ain't the Grand Prix. This is the Indy 250, a lot harder to predict. We're going to go on board with Zaidel, and then we'll go ahead and get back to racing with Vincent Leff leading this field in the 99. On board with Justin Zaidel. This is going to be a wild ride in this number 23 machine. As Mason Brown moves to the inside, and you're not supposed to turn that hard left. My goodness. You get dizzy yet? Tough right there for Justin Zaidel, who will not go to victory lane in this year's Indianapolis 250, and that's the culprit right there, Mason Brown. Well, let's get back to racing. Jim Vincent Leff, your race leader. Let's see what he does on the restart here in the Indianapolis 250. We're back here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway after our third caution of the day in the 10th running of the Indianapolis 250, and unfortunately Justin Zaidel in the 23 is now out of the race after a wreck. Tough break for the driver who I know loves this race, goes to the Indy 500 every year. We always meet up with him. That's going to be an interesting conversation. At least he qualified this year, but we'll have to see what happens as the season rolls along for Zaidel. The California 100 winner up there in the point standings did not need that here today, but regardless of the fact, good run here for Jim Vincent Leff, who has led the most laps here in this Indianapolis 250. Jay Knapp in the 98 runs second. Noah Clifton runs third. The big three here in this Indianapolis 250, but it might become the big four after a while. Caleb Rose pulling that strategy off, moving up to fourth there, and now he's on the same cycle as everybody else. Angel Gutierrez is fifth. Matt Tuck is sixth from starting 33rd. Trey Smith, Chase Harris, Chris Reynolds, and Luna Lona the top 10. Hey, Alexander Rowe in 11th. Watch out for him in that number 12 machine. First ever run in this race. Back underway, Jim Vincent Leff going to lead us back to the green flag, and we have ourselves 43 laps to go in this Indianapolis 250. We could see a fuel mileage race here today. We're just going to have to wait and find out. Good jumps for Jay Knapp and Jim Vincent Leff. Caleb Rose looking on Noah Clifton for third.
Knapp not quite going to get the run down the backstretch, as you see a lot of cars going side by side. Rose for third. Gutierrez looking as well underneath Clifton. And here goes Knapp for the race lead into turn 3.
Whoa! Caleb Rose shot up there off of turn number 3. And these guys went really wide. Vincent Leff's coming down. Problem on the 99, our race leader. Unbelievable. Wow.
I thought something.
And they all started peeking out of line right there, and I'm wondering if he got penalized for something. You know, they did not catch the pace car, and Vincent Leff may have been ahead of the pace car when they came down the pit lane under the caution flag, and they may have black flagged him. Not entirely sure, but what a heartbreaker for the Indy 250 only driver, Jim Vincent Leff, who was dominating this race, has come down the pit lane. I'm wondering if he's topping off on fuel. Maybe a bit of a strategy call. I don't know if that's a good call, though. But regardless of the fact, Vincent Leff is out of the race lead. It's now Jay Knapp leading this field here in Indianapolis. Angel Gutierrez in second. Caleb Rose, Chris Reynolds, Chase Harris, and I just mentioned Alexander Rowe. He's now up to the 6th position as Reynolds moves on Rose for 3rd. And now a whole different cast of characters up front in this race. Vincent Left's going to go a lap down here as he's coming off the pit lane. Jay Knapp and Angel Gutierrez. Gutierrez looking to the inside for the race lead on lap 60.
Oh boy, this is going to get a little interesting here because I feel like Vincent Left now is gonna be like, man, I've got to stay on this lead lap. I've got to try to stay ahead of these guys, so that if a caution does come out, I'm right back in a good spot. But oh my gosh, look how stacked up they are now for pretty much everyone up here at front.
And now we have a completely different set of drivers leading this race. Where did Noah Clifton fall to? He fell way back. He's still stuck in this outside lane. And now outside the top 10 for the number 94. As for the race lead, here comes Chris Reynolds on Angel Gutierrez. Gutierrez going to lead a lap in this race, but Reynolds trying. He's got a nose to the inside. And these guys seem to be even more aggressive than they were earlier on. You got Caleb Rose here and Chase Harris. Chase freaking Harris. 5 wins in the 2020 Haas IndyCar Series. Finished 21st in the Indy 250 that year. His only running of this race in the past. But my golly, this guy is going to be in contention for the race win if this keeps up. And that 31 running 3rd right now. Jay Knapp to the inside of Gutierrez at the 16 stuck in the outside lane. It's Chris Reynolds, already a 2-time winner this season at Riverside and Willow Springs. Looking to get the biggest win of his career. Chris Reynolds failed to qualify for this race last year. This is his first running in the Indianapolis 250. And he is currently leading the field here with 39 coming to 38 laps to go.
Rose still looking super strong. He's in 2nd. Knapp got shuffled back a little bit there, but he's back up into 3rd. And here comes Rowe I apologize. Rowe into 4th place into turn number 1.
You got Benny Moore there. Bradley Bradshaw inside the top 10. Aaron Abel, Jay Knapp's teammate there at NS Racing on the inside lane. But the big question is, these guys came down before lap 60. They actually made it quite a long ways before that 3rd caution came out. And I know they were just about to pit there, but I'm surprised that they hadn't pit yet at the point of that caution. But now, we may have a fuel mileage race here. It could be just like it was in 2020 when Nicholas Samedeo went to victory lane that year. We have some guys who were able to make it, some guys who were not. That was tight there between Bradley Bradshaw, Benny Moore, and Alexander Rowe. But how about Bradshaw? Really haven't seen much of this driver all season long in the Haas IndyCar Series, but now he's running 4th in the Indianapolis 250. Jay Knapp still up front, though. Jay Knapp has the best average running position of this race by far, no doubt about it. I don't think he's even fallen outside the top 5 all day. But here he is running 2nd. Going to move to the inside of Caleb Rose. But Chris Reynolds now starting to kind of control this race in the 75 machine. I don't know, Andrew. Do you think the 75 might be the new driver to beat here in Indianapolis?
I mean, heck, he just came up from, I think it was like 9th on the restart, and he pretty much took the lead in like 2 or 3 laps. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he was just hanging back there for a while, and now knowing that it's possible that they might be able to make it to the finish, he might have a good chance. But he's got some strong cars behind him, including, I'm just going to send that shout out to Alexander Rowe, a true veteran of NR offline racing. I would not be surprised, and am not surprised, to see him up front here.
Of course, he's always had his development driver, Max Anderson, in this race in years past. This is the first time he's driving it himself, though. And he's doing an excellent job in that number 12 machine. Jay Knapp to the inside of Chris Reynolds for the race lead. Bradley Bradshaw looking to follow suit behind the 98. And Jay Knapp back out front here at Indianapolis. You know, overall, I think this 98 might be the fastest car at this point. As Vincent left way behind now. Most all these drivers in this pack have passed that 99. He is definitely a lap down and well beyond the field of getting his lap back. So such a tough break for Vincent Leff as he dominated this race earlier on. I don't think he's going to win this Indianapolis 250, but Jay Knapp could absolutely pull it off here today. But Bradley Bradshaw in the 34 looking to the inside, help from Alexander Rowe and Chris Reynolds, and the 34 looking to take the race lead away here on lap 67.
He'll do it. He'll clear Knapp into 1. Here comes Rowe, now looking to the inside of the 34. So that lack of pack racing we were talking about earlier has kind of gone out the window. These guys are jostling for positions, just jockeying back and forth, and now Rowe's going to take the lead heading into turn 3.
Chris Reynolds was peeking there down the backstretch, but he thought better of it. you can't go 3 wide here. We saw that happen yesterday in the Freedom 50, and obviously it does not work out. And right there, that's another thing we saw in the Freedom 50 yesterday. The outside lane off the exit of turn number 4. That is the slowest corner on the racetrack, and Alex Monroe got it to work to his advantage. He's going to clear Chris Reynolds there for the race lead. Don't look now. We've yet to talk about this guy. Skylar Taylor, they're up inside the top 5 now for DM Motorsports. Of course, both Brad Stover and Noah Clifton have been running up front for this team so far today, but this is the first time we've seen Skylar up front. Now top 5 is Chris Reynolds to the inside of Alex Monroe. And just like you said, Micah, these guys so much closer to each other now here for the race lead. You know, that single file racing has gone out the window, and these guys are battling like it's the last lap every single lap. Jay Knapp now back to the inside. 2 passes for the race lead on that lap. We have yet to see that here today, but we got ourselves a cycle race going on right here, late in the running of the Indianapolis 250.
As we take lap 69, nice. I'm going to throw this out there. The only driver that has been consistently up front the entire race has been Jay Knapp. Everybody else that has been up front has either fallen back by some means or another. This 98 has not, so oh boy, it's going to be tough to take that win away from him at this rate. But man, with how all tightly packed they are, you've got at least 15 drivers that can still do it here in these final 30.
Absolutely. I mean, I think anybody from Luna Lona on up at this point, Jacob Walker, Brad Stover a bit off the pace here. And you got Eric Drew. Chase Harris fell back. He was up front, and he really lost it there. Got stuck in that outside lane. And don't count out Nicholas Samedillo. I mean, he's still very much in this pack. We've yet to see him get to the front yet, but I mean, the 2-time winner of this Indianapolis 250, there ain't no reason why he can't win it a 3rd time. But also, Trey Smith is still in this lead draft as well. Last year's winner of this race. Looking to go 2 in a row. And they're both still very much in contention for this Indianapolis 250 race victory. Starting to spread out a little bit as Angel Gutierrez now out front in the 16 machine. Bradley Bradshaw is 2nd. Chris Reynolds is 3rd, and a battle for 4th between Benny Moore and Jay Knapp.
Knapp, just as we're talking about him running up front, it looks like he's going to keep 4th for the time being. But yeah, just got shuffled out of the lead there for the time being. I wonder if leading in this circumstance puts you at a disadvantage. You're burning more fuel. You're not in that tow. So I'm wondering if these guys are going to want to lead this race long term, especially if we have one more stop potentially to be made under green.
We really don't know if they can make it from here on out. They might be able to stretch it if you count the caution laps, but I don't know. I feel like they'll need another caution to have an opportunity, or otherwise we're going to see green flag pit stops right at the end of this race, and everyone could be a part of that cycle. But this is, you said, Mike, and that might be why they were cycling so much there. They did not want to be the race leader because you're not saving as much fuel if you're leading this race, and obviously with fuel being a concern here near the end of this one, you might not want to be the race leader. But Gutierrez is not letting that keep him down. He is starting to pull away as Reynolds takes 2nd away from Bradley Bradshaw. It's tight there between Skylar Taylor and Avery Alford, but they keep it together. And how about Christian Vargas? Remember what happened to him there during the 2nd caution. Had a tire issue, had to come down the pit lane, went to the back of the field. Well, now here he is, back inside the top 10 for Ryan Durrani Incorporated. Our polls that are still very much in contention for this race win. All of these guys, our race leader, Angel Gutierrez, Chris Reynolds, Jay Knapp, Benny Moore, Aaron Abel, Skylar Taylor, Bradley Bradshaw, Christian Vargas, Avery Alford, Trey Smith, Caleb Rose, Nicholas Samedillo, Alexander Rowe, Mason Brown, first time we mentioned him all day, here he is, Matt Tuck still in this thing, Clifton, Jacob Walker, Brad Stover, Luna Lona, Eric Drew, Chase Harris, all in the lead draft still. Vincent Leff is a lap down in the 99, but any of these guys, I feel like, can still easily win this race as we're closing in on 25 laps to go. Down to the last quarter of the race here in the 2023 Indianapolis 250. And guys, I'm starting to feel it. This is always such an exciting finish here for this race, and someone's going to make history today winning this 10th running.
Probably this has been so much fun. And this run especially, I mean, I think now the tires are starting to wear out. The tires are getting a little more strung out than they were. But, I mean, as this race goes on here, especially at this point now, I think that track position is just now starting to become important. That if you're going to have a shot at this thing, as each lap clicks away, even if you're in this lead draft, you've got a lot of cars to pass, and you've just got more and more of a mountain to climb with each lap that ticks by. But my God, look at how much Jay Knapp is closing on the leader.
I mean, this 98 is just so fast. There's no doubt about it. And of course, with the draft going on, these guys have a hard time staying out front. I mean, Finson-Lift did that, but I think Jay Knapp, no equipment, kind of let him lead the race there. As a very edgy back in here. As for third, Aaron Abel. How about NS Racing? You know, their Indy 250 only driver, Bruno Giacomo, failed to qual in the wall. Benny Moore hit the wall at the exit of turn 4. And somehow he kept it together, but he's going to lose a lot of momentum right there in the 37.
I'm wondering if he's going to be able to recover from that. We were talking earlier about how even minor damage can offset your day and take your chance of winning the race away. These cars are so fragile that any little issue can take you out, so we'll see if he can recover from that. But yeah, how about NS Racing? We hadn't talked about Aaron Abel most of the day, and here he is running third, potentially in a battle for fourth with our pole sitter, who's come back up, and he's searching for third now off of turn 4.
And Christian Vargas. I don't know, this 73 is absolutely a great car here today, and he could easily win this race. Going to close in on Christian Master once again. Jay Knapp and Angel Gutierrez might have a difficult time with Christian Master. And Jay Knapp, oh, he's going to slow the 98 down right there. To try to open the door for everybody else to get around the 55 right here, and that will in fact be the case. Comes Vargas to the inside. Bradley Bradshaw, Skylar Taylor. And I think all these guys are going to find a way around, as Gutierrez will find a way around Jay Knapp once again. You know, this 16 is also very quick here for Dog Pound Incorporated, and Angel Gutierrez only in maybe his 5th or 6th start on the channel here. Definitely one of the newest drivers in this race, but what a win it would be for the rookie driver to get this win. But Christian Vargas, from the pole, he fell back. He's going to take the race lead once again. And Ryan Durrani Incorporated won this race last year with Trey Smith driving their race car. Will Vargas, who finished second here 4 years ago to Audra Baranowskis, get it done here today?
This will be the comeback story, I think, in all the... I mean, it's got to be one of the comeback stories in all of the Indianapolis 250. If Christian Vargas is able to come back and win this thing.
Now he's starting to pull away here. Bradley Bradshaw now in second. Jay Knapp back on Gutierrez, and Skylar Taylor here is the top 5 that pulled away. Trey Smith. Hey, don't count out a guy who's won this race before, and Trey Smith. But Benny Moore back in this thing after he hit the outside wall. Avery Alford still in the top 10. Alexander Rowe and Chris Reynolds there. And don't count out Mr. Edge. You know, Nicholas Amadio is kind of starting to creep his way up here. I don't even know if he's been top 10 yet today, but he's still very much in contention as well as Skylar Taylor moves to the inside of Angel Gutierrez for fourth. 21 laps to go in the Indianapolis 250 for Christian Vargas in the 73. And look at how close those guys are, tightly packed as they come across the yard of bricks right here. Bradley Bradshaw in second, and then you got Jay Knapp there as they continue the battle for fourth between Gutierrez and Taylor.
Looked like he lost a little momentum there off of turn 1 as Gutierrez kind of squeezed him up the racetrack a bit, and that 79 is going to slot in behind him now. So keep an eye on that 79 to Trey Smith. He's been a rocket ship all day, and he's working his way up through the field during these late stages of the race as we see Knapp now having a peek for second.
And here comes Jay Knapp once again, the strongest driver of the day, no doubt about it, trying to get around Bradley Bradshaw, but Vargas in position here now. The question still remains, will they have enough fuel to make it to the end of the race? And that is the big question. Will some of these guys save? Is Nicholas Amadio saving? That's what he did in 2020 when he won this race on fuel mileage, and I'm wondering if that's what he's thinking about right now, because we only got 20 laps to go. I thought we might see a few more wrecks than we did, especially after having the 2 wrecks early on in the race. But since lap 20, only 1 caution in 60 straight laps, and that was Justin Zeidel's incident midway through that run, right around lap 58. Gutierrez back around Jay Knapp. Jay Knapp falling back a little bit here in the 98 machine. And here comes Trey Smith trying to work his way through the field here. Benny Moore, Avery Alford, and Chris Reynolds all still in contention, but Christian Vargas and Bradley Bradshaw leading this field right now here in this Indianapolis 250.
And now they've got a little bit of a gap here. So are they going to maybe try to work together a little bit to try to get ahead? Or is Vargas maybe starting to think, I don't know about my fuel situation? I mean, he was in the field there for a while, so he may have been able to save a little bit more. I haven't got a clue as to who's going to win this thing.
I don't think anybody does, and I think that fuel mileage concern is absolutely something that is in the back of the mind of all these drivers. And Angel Gutierrez has been running very hard in this session here, and in this green flag run at least. I don't know if he's got as much fuel saved as some of these other guys, and that might be what Jay Knapp is thinking as well. He kind of backed it off there a little bit, and now we're starting to see these top three pull away again, but a completely different top three. It's Christian Vargas, Bradley Bradshaw, and Angel Gutierrez, the top three. Then a gap between them and Skylar Taylor, Jay Knapp, Avery Alford, and the number 79 of Trey Smith, Alexander Rowe, Benny Moore, Chris Reynolds, and then Mason Brown just outside the top 10 in 11th. Sam Medea runs in 12th. Eric Drew is 13th. Caleb Rose is 14th. Brad Stover, Luna Lona, Aaron Abel's fallen back. Chase Harris, Noah Clifton, Matt Tuck, and Jacob Walker. Those are all the lead lap cars in the main draft right now. Here on lap 84 of 100 in the 10th running of the Indianapolis 250. Somebody's going to win this race. We don't know how it's going to be won, but somebody's going to do it. Gutierrez for second on Bradley Bradshaw.
And they stay side by side through 3 and 4. And I'm curious how late these guys are going to think about pitting. You mentioned earlier they might be pitting right at the end of the race. Well, if that happens, it's all bets are off. We don't know if some people are going to take fuel only. That's what I would do. But you could see some people maybe taking some late race right side tires. It's all up in the air at this point still, with just 15 laps to go.
And now they're really starting to spread out from one another, so they're not racing for position anymore, really. At least not the way they were at the beginning of this run. And I'm wondering if some of these guys are going to have these gaps, are going to be able to save fuel a little bit better than the guys ahead of them here. But very fascinating what's going on at the moment. A lot of single file racing here, coming to 15 laps to go in the Indianapolis 250. We're going to run into Zachary Fitzwater again as Christian Vargas continues to lead this field. Wondering if Fitzwater might help his teammate out here and maybe dethrone that 73, or is that what you want to do? Gutierrez probably not using as much fuel right now as Vargas, as he is right behind the 73. Probably not going 100% throttle either. Bradshaw there, Taylor and Jay Knapp still in the line. I don't know. It's going to get interesting to see if these guys have to come down. Jay Knapp looking for fourth there on Skylar Taylor. He's not going to wait any longer. Going to move to the inside and move up to the fourth position. And for the race lead, Angel Gutierrez on the 73 of Christian Vargas. Peeking to the inside. He's going to do it right here. And right as they close in on Zachary Fitzwater, Gutierrez going to take it away easily there from Christian Vargas.
Now, is he going to be affected by Fitzwater here? Looks like he's actually going to catch him in a really good spot here. Going to get him down the back straightaway. But, I mean, we're at the end of it now. We're getting down there pretty much at this point. It's do or die, and you've got to get up there.
Boy.
I think anyone in the top 5 still has a chance. Anyone outside the top 5 at this point? Unless you saved enough fuel, I'm not feeling it really.
And Alfred, Rowe, Trey Smith, Chris Reynolds may have a shot, but these guys are definitely a lot farther behind than they'd like to be. Mason Brown, Nicholas Amadeo, Benny Moore, and Eric Drew. And I mean, it's a massive gap between some of these guys. You know, they were all in a pack once that restart occurred, and they continued the race after the restart, but now they are massively spread out. And you're right, it may come down to the top 9, or top 5, I should say, in this race. Skylar Taylor, Jay Knapp, Bradley Bradshaw, Christian Vargas, and Angel Gutierrez. But do they have enough fuel? And that's the big waiting game we have right here. They came down lap 55 in the lap 56, I do believe. That's 45 laps. They got the green flag with over 40 laps to go. To go over 40 laps on a tank of fuel is absolutely a bit of a stretch for these guys, and I don't see anybody pulling it off. However, stranger things have happened, and an Indianapolis 250 race victory is at hand, and you will do anything to get that race victory. So some of these guys I feel like are going to try to stretch it and make it to the end. It's going to be interesting to see if anyone, in fact, does pull that off. Vargas trying to get back on Gutierrez for the race lead as the 16 continues to lead this field. 11 laps to go across the line here in the 2023 Indianapolis 250.
Everyone's just single filed out now, just playing a waiting game at this point. We might see a lot of splash and goes here toward the end as potential pass for the race lead. Gutierrez up the track a little bit. Off the 2, he's going to keep that lead.
Vargas almost had it there on the 16 machine, couldn't quite do it. 34 machine there. Bradley Bradshaw waiting in the wings. Jay Knapp, Skylar Taylor as well. Alexander Rowe here in 6. Watch out for the 12 machine. As battle right there. Reynolds and Trey Smith. They're trying to get around the 81 machine here of Zachary Fitzwater. Nicholas Samadillo has gotten around the 53 of Mason Brown. And Samadillo continues to creep his way through this field. 10 laps to go here in the Indianapolis 250 for Angel Gutierrez. Vargas still right there. I don't know. It's going to come down to the fuel. If fuel wasn't an issue, we know exactly how this race would play out. Well, we think we would. But all these guys might come down the pit lane and someone back in here may be able to stretch it. We just don't know. We got to get to that point. Alford looking on Alexander Rowe as they continue to battle there for 6. That's going to allow the top 5 to continue to pull away. Vargas still looking here on Gutierrez. He's got to be careful here not to burn up too much fuel if these guys can make it. But we don't know what they're going to be able to do. Gutierrez has led a lot of laps here under this green flag run. By far, he's going to be the driver who has burned up the most fuel during this run. But we're just going to have to see if these guys can make it. And the tires as well also completely worn out on these cars. It's going to make it a lot harder for them to make runs and make passes on the racetrack as well. Andrew, how do you see this thing playing out?
Honestly, I have no idea. I mean, with the fuel situation being the way that it is, and the big unknown that is, I really got nothing. I mean, I think Gutierrez is in the least prime position if that's the case, but he's also leading, so that's the best track position-wise. So if they can all make it, well, then he's looking really good. But if not, then he's in the worst spot. So a lot of unknowns here, as we're only down to, as you said, 8 laps to go. Here comes Vargas.
Vargas moving to the inside for the race lead, at least attempting to do so. I think he's got it as they move in the turn number 3, and there we go. Vargas taking the race lead away from Gutierrez here for the top position. It is now 7 laps to go across the line here in the Indianapolis 250. Nobody coming down the pit lane quite yet. We'll see if anyone through the field does before the end of this race, but Vargas in a great position now. Bradley Bradshaw there running in 3rd. Jay Knapp still in this thing. Skylar Taylor in 5th. And then you got Chris Reynolds moving up through the field. Alexander Rowe is there as well. Nicholas Samadillo is top 10 now here in this Indianapolis 250, but they're all too far behind if this thing stays green and these guys can make it. And also, if we get a caution, we're coming down to the point of no return here. If we get a caution on lap 96, that's it. The race will end under caution. So next time by is the point of no return here in this Indianapolis 250. And these guys, they might want to see that caution. I know Vargas might want to see that caution, but some of these other guys might not want to see it. 6 laps to go on the Indy 250 for Christian Vargas and Ryan Durrani Incorporated.
Even if the caution does come out, you've still got to run under caution speed to the end of the race. So some of these guys might not be in the clear, even if that were to happen.
And for the race lead,
here,
Gutierrez to the inside of Christian Vargas, side by side in the turn number 3.
And this is just going to reel 2nd and 3rd right back in.
Here comes Bradshaw.
Still side by side.
Oh boy, and Gutierrez unable to make the pass there. And here comes Bradley Bradshaw in the number 34. Gutierrez is not going to be able to hold it. He will. To the inside. 5 laps to go on the Indy 250. And Angel Gutierrez taking the race lead away from Christian Vargas. Bradley Bradshaw up to 2nd. Here comes Jay Knapp. He has reeled these top 3 back in. And this 98 might have an opportunity at winning this race. I don't know. If it isn't a fuel mileage concern, one of these 4 is going to get the Indy 250 race victory. Angel Gutierrez back out front in the 16. Then you got Bradley Bradshaw, Christian Vargas, and Jay Knapp in the 98. They are still staying out. 4 laps to go here at Indianapolis.
Gutierrez has found some late speed here. I wonder if maybe he was just trying to back up to save that bit of fuel, and now he's starting to pull away. Here comes Vargas. That's going to help out the 16 a little bit. But, oh, man, he actually made that move way easier than I thought he would. But, yeah, 4 to go. It's game on, and just run it till it's dry at this point.
I think so. I don't think we're going to see anyone come down. But then again, in 2019, Jonathan King was coming to the checkered flag of the race and came down the pit lane. Will we see something like that here today? Will these guys have enough fuel? That is the question. Then they're all still staying out right there. Almost thought J Knapp was peeking down. Not the case. 3 laps to go for Angel Gutierrez. What a win this would be for Gutierrez if he can pull it off here at Indianapolis in the biggest race on the channel. But Vargas started on pole, fell back. He wants this race victory after finishing second 4 years ago. Will he be able to do it here for Ryan Durrani Incorporated? They've pulled away from Bradshaw and Knapp, and it may be between Gutierrez and Vargas for the race victory in this Indianapolis 250. There goes Vargas to the inside for the race lead, coming to 2 laps to go.
They'll stay side by side through turn number 4. Vargas not giving an inch. They're still side by side, but it looks like Gutierrez is going to get the run down the front straightaway. And Bradshaw has a run now, so does Knapp. In that 5th place car, that's number 9. Don't count him out. He's now joined this front pack.
And that battle for the race lead brought the other 3 drivers right back in. Gutierrez continuing to lead this field, and at this point, you don't worry about fuel. All you're worried about is keeping that 73 behind you. It's going to be the white flag in the 10th running of the Indianapolis 250. Next time by Christian Vargas, Angel Gutierrez, the top 2 drivers. Bradshaw and Knapp looking to strike in case these guys tangle. But here we come to the white flag. 1 lap to go in the 2023 Indy 250. Alexander Rose down. Alexander Rose down the pit lane. Will that mean that the 16 or the 73 have to come down? They're not going to. If they can make it to the end. Vargas looking on the 16. Knapp's going to take 3rd away from Bradley Bradshaw. Here comes Vargas. Vargas has a run to the inside of Angel Gutierrez for the race lead. The 73, though, does not have any help behind him, and Gutierrez is going to keep the race lead in the 16. One more chance for Christian Vargas in the turn number 4. Will he be able to get to the inside of the 16 and take the race win away? He is not going to do it. Angel Gutierrez for Dog Pound Incorporated. The biggest win, his first win. Gutierrez wins the Indianapolis 250 here in the Haas IndyCar Series.
He had enough. I can't believe it.
Wow.
He had enough.
I didn't think they were going to make it, and especially Gutierrez, who led so much of that last run. But Angel Gutierrez, first career win on the channel, only his 6th career start, I do believe. And by far the biggest win he will probably ever have in his career here on AG the channel. Shane Lake, Dog Pound Incorporated, they get the win as an owner. And an Indy 250 only driver goes to victory lane in the Indianapolis 250 once again. Angel Gutierrez pulls it off here in the 10th running of the Indy 250. Wow. Vargas had a chance.
Everybody had enough fuel, and that was some of the best racing while saving fuel that I think any of us have ever seen.
Such a good show there. Such a good show at the end. And I'm glad. It's a tough break for Alexander Rowe, who could not make it to the end of the race there. But everybody else was. And I kind of had a feeling these guys had very good fuel mileage, considering that run we had in between the 2nd and 3rd caution. Those guys went so long during that run. I was thinking to myself, you know what? They might be able to make it. And sure enough, they were. Angel Gutierrez in the number 16. First career win on the channel. And I think of all the Indy 250s that we had, Gutierrez is by far the least experienced driver to win this race in terms of racing on the channel. Everybody else who has won this race in the past had made many starts before, has run in a series full-time before. Gutierrez has not done that before. And like I said, he's made a couple of Sprint Series starts, but other than that, he really hasn't had much. Well, here he is with the biggest win of his career. Christian Vargas finishing 2nd. I know he wanted to win that race. And J Knapp, man, Micah, I know your son there was so close, almost pulled it off. Bradley Bradshaw in 4th, and then Skylar Taylor in 5th. Guys, what a race that was. It was all built up to that, and just like that, the Indy 250 has concluded for the 10th time, and a first-time winner in victory lane here in Indianapolis.
not too much more that you can ask for there. Great stuff for sure. And Christian Vargas got to keep his head held high at the pole, and then flat tire in the middle of the race, fell to the rear of the field, rallies back up to second within only 56 thousandths of victory. So a lot to be proud of there. But Gutierrez going to be kissing the bricks, and deservedly so. Man, did that car come to life at the end.
It's been a great race. I think that Angel Gutierrez certainly earned that victory, and Vargas, like you said, that comeback, absolutely impressive. J Knapp up there in the top five the entire day, cannot be disappointed there. Bradley Bradshaw desperately needed a good run, and he got it. He was 19th in the points coming into this, so that's excellent. Nicholas Samadeo started deep in the field, finished 8th, so very good for the 10th anniversary of this race. Couldn't have asked for anything more.
Absolutely, and what a race it was. And it was nice to have just a race. Nothing crazy happened, and we thought fuel mileage may become a concern. Was not the case there for Gutierrez and Vargas, and they put on a great show there at the end of the race. Vargas, if he had help behind him, he would have been able to make that pass on Gutierrez on the last lap, but just not enough to make it work. And how about that? An Indy 250 only driver getting it done here in the Indianapolis 250. The first time that happened, the last time it happened, was Aaron Walpole back in 2016. Of course, 2021, it was a special event. That doesn't really count. But, wow, what a race we had here. Take a look at the rest of the results. And, of course, these guys all had issues. Brad Stover caught up in an accident at some point. I don't know quite what that was. You guys may have already seen it. It may not have, but we'll try to find that for you. Justin Zeidel obviously had his issue. We had the big wreck between Tanner Parton, Roy Ribbleton, and John Stewart around lap 20. And then Logan Williams on lap 8 there as he got spun off by John Andrews, and that wreck could have been much worse than what it ended up being. But wow, what a race it was, as it always is. This race never disappoints, and Angel Gutierrez, I know he is going to be all over my Discord. So happy that he won this race. But you know what? That's why I like doing these races. I love bringing joy to y'all for having fun being part of this races. And if you're not in the race, I hope you folks enjoyed it regardless. This is a race that I take so much pride in. I put so much work into with the whole Indy 250 week. The 10th running at this event. And I just love it so much. And a huge thanks to Micah and Andrew for calling this race with me. And guys, wow. I mean, just makes you look forward to the real life one, which, hey, Micah, we're looking forward to tomorrow, aren't we? I mean, big day for the Indy 500 tomorrow. Can't wait for the real life one, and this really gets me pumped up for that one.
It's going to be fantastic.
It will, as it always is. The greatest racetrack in the world, the greatest race in the world, the Indianapolis 500 tomorrow. And our version of the Indy 500 has concluded, but not without disappointment. Angel Gutierrez with the race victory here in the 10th running of the Indianapolis 250. Thank you guys so much for watching and doing everything that you do this whole past couple of weeks. So much work went into it, and I'm not trying to sell it, but, hey, I love doing it. And to have the full product come together, I always get anxious, like, will I have time to record this? Will I have time to edit this? I'm going to Indianapolis. I'm probably in Indianapolis by now, or at least on my way there right now, and it's just like, oh my goodness, will I have enough time? But when it's all complete, said and done, it is so worth it. And you know what, I'm glad we got it. And here's to another 10 runnings of the Indy 250. How's that sound? Angel Gutierrez getting it done with a great race, and I can't thank you guys enough for all that you do. It's just such a blessing to be part of this community, have great friends like Micah and Andrew, and all of you other guys who some I've not met yet, some I have. This community has changed my life, this game has changed my life, and it's all been for the better, and I don't know where I'd be without you guys, and just everything that you guys do, and it's just so wonderful to be part of such a great community like this, and I love it, and races like this make me love it even more. But either way, enough with the emotional nonsense. Let's get on to the points in the Haas IndyCar Series. Let you get on to your day, get ready for the best day in racing tomorrow, and of course, with it being Memorial Day, honor those who gave their life to protect this country. We definitely owe so much to all of those who have given their lives and have served, and to be able to enjoy races like this, be able to enjoy the greatest day in motorsports. It's all thanks to them, and we would not be here without those who gave their life for this country and for all that they have done. But what a race here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That's all I got to say, and we're looking forward to the real-life one tomorrow. Our next race in the Haas IndyCar Series is going to be 3 weeks from now, or 2.5 weeks from now, Road America. Going to take a break since it's such a big week. But Angel Gutierrez, I know he's going to be happy about this one, and hey, I'm glad we had a great race. That's all I got to say. I've been talking long enough. Thank you guys so much for watching. A huge thanks to Mike Knapp and Adrian Miller for joining me for the call of this year's Indianapolis 250. Here are the point standings for the Haas IndyCar Series after 9 races, and we will see you guys next time at Road America here in the Haas IndyCar Series. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. Have a great best day of racing tomorrow with the Monaco Grand Prix, the Indy 500, and the Coke 600. If you're going to be at the Indy 500, hey, I'm going to be there too. We're going to have a lot of fun there. And, yeah, just be safe. That's all I got to say. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Congratulations to Angel Gutierrez. And I will see you guys later.